What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of X-2. We've got some interesting stuff this little session here. Basically, we're going Final Fantasy PS1 era, where kind of I always feel like in those games at the end game points, you end up having all these caves you can explore. And today, we're going to do a ton of caves. It should be pretty interesting. The first of which is right here on the Mihen highroad, which we have basically got episode complete at. We have done everything, but there's a little bonus thing here, and it really is very minor. But I want to show it to you guys, and it's what happens when you send a Chocobo of level 5 to the Mihen highroad, and they actually return safely. You get this cutscene. Alright, so not so much cutscene, but more just class code talking to us. But here we are in the Chocobo Ranch. He says, we sent Choco Runner 2. Well, this is incredible, Lady Una. The Chocobos discovered some sort of mysterious cave. You know the large clearing on the Mihen highroad, the place with the terraced cliff and dome-shaped ruin? The cave entrance is right around there. The Chocobo says you shouldn't have any trouble finding it once you're there. I don't quite know how the Chocobo is full on talking to Classco at this point, but hey, that's fun. And while we're here, I thought I'd show you guys as well. This is the amazing Chocobo. It's like super gold, super colorful, and there I just send it out. You can make it just free roam, or you can send it to support your other Chocos. And yeah, so that's how you unlock the dungeon. Okay, so with that cutscene under our belt, when we return, we can do some interesting things. First of all, though, we do also have Chocobos available for riding on the high road. Now, remember the conclusion to the story? Rin bought a couple of Chocobos from the ferry nearby. Well, check it out. He's right here. Please check in with the attendant. And if we talk to the attendant, she says, hey, what do you want to ride? And we can say we actually want to pick a Chocobo. Chocobos are more expensive and technically slower than hovers. Now, if you do the Rin ending, you get free Chocobos, but you don't get episode complete. So it's just weird the way they do it. This is kind of cooler than the way it was in 10, though. On this game, you actually get to mount and demount whenever the hell you like. So to ride a Chocobo, just talk to it. Press circle when you want to get out. Once you pay, you're free to ride the Chocobo until you leave the high road. If you leave the high road, the Chocobo will head home on its own. So it was a slightly different system in 10, but now we've got like this cool little animation. We can get on, get off whenever we like, and it's pretty cool that when we leave this Chocobo, he will just stay stood there on the road. So it's quite nice. And yeah, they kind of have that returning mechanic that we had in the previous game. I believe you got free Chocobos by managing to defeat the Chocobo Eater instead of being pushed off the cliff. Or maybe that was just a couple of fortune spheres. Or by pushing it off the cliff. One of those. Anyway, instead of him, like, basically owning you. The other thing we can do on the high road now as well. Now, I don't know whether I'll get it. We can try. But last time we were here, we basically came here at the start of Chapter 5. And that meant we hadn't done the Jose stuff. We hadn't done any of the digging. We hadn't done we hadn't defeated the machine. So, as we know already from the Chocobo dungeon back in the Calmlands and a few other places, there actually are repair manuals you can get in the game that allow you to fight that machine over and over and over again. Funny enough, one of them, I believe, renewably is available here at the Mihen High Road. It's a random chance when interacting with some of the Muckiner here, you'll get like an everyman repair manual or something will come in. You notice I've opened all the chests and stuff. This is from a while ago now where I came back down here and did like all the matchmaking and publicity stuff. And talk to everyone. And actually, the funny thing is, all the NPCs on the road here, I won't bother talking to all of them, but they all have, like, if you're on a Chocobo, they have a new unique line of dialogue that plays before their other dialogue talking about the fact you're on a Chocobo. So they'll be like, wow, I didn't see a Chocobo here for a long time. This is cool. And there's a guy who's like, oh, I love the smell of oil. Chocobos don't give you that and stuff like that. Now, that's what I call putting Chocobo back into the high road. There you go. You dance, I dance, everybody dance. Boom, chicka, chicka, boom, yeah. You're a weird man. So Rin actually in the cutscene only bought 2 Chocobos, but you see they've clearly got 3 here. I like to think we actually sent 5 to the high road. I like to think that some of those are my Chocobo. They're just looking around for items right now. Now, in the previous game, you guys will remember that there were Chocobo Feathers on the paths that we could, while riding a Chocobo, jump around on things. In X2, obviously, we could just make the jumps on our own, so what's the point in them? Now, you don't really get any shortcuts on a Chocobo, but there is a very important item right here, where the reason I've stopped running on this screen, there's a very important item, and that is the last remaining Chocobo Feather, okay? All the other ones in the old areas are gone, but there is one here, okay? Now, this is kind of cool, actually. What you have to do is stand. Now, if I press X and do stuff, basically nothing happens. But if I just stand and wait on top of the Chocobo Feather, eventually the Chocobo is going to appreciate something's going on. There you go. See, so it says going, and you can say, am I ever going where? See, how weird is this? How crazy is this? You have to stand and just wait on the Chocobo Feather. I like to think it's a little bit like you know, we let the Chocobo do its own thing for a bit, a little bit like the ones that we send from the Calmlands. So we're going to say, yes, am I ever? Absolutely. And it will fly you up here to this chest. And we get 5 Phoenix Downs. How cool is that? Pretty badass, right, guys? So we're just going to leave, because that's obviously not important. That's just like a bonus little thing, right? Like, that's just a cool, tiny thing on the high road where the episode's complete and, you know, there's nothing else going on. Well, actually, once again, X2 is being a crazy, like, obscure, annoying game. We'll go back, all right? I can see my capture card is really, really dying on me right now. I'm sorry if the footage is crazy, guys. It's absolutely outrageous what they do here. It's a very cool item, important item in some senses. When you return, you'll notice, well, still the feather's gone. We had to leave the screen and come back to trigger this. But now what we have to do is stand again where the feather was, and once again, just wait. Let the Chocobo do its thing. Why you would know to do this when there's no visual, you know, cue that the feather's here at all or anything's going on, I have no idea. And it can be fiddly as all hell. This happened on my test file too. It looks like it's happening here again. It's like, oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, like that's so weird. I turned around. Once again, turn around, I guess, after waiting a while, and it will stay going again. What do you mean? This seems like a bug, right? This seemed like we've tricked the game out. I could have just recorded this section for you guys and be like, oh, look, we're just going to break the game here, guys. Lol, let's go back up, even though we're not supposed to. We'll say, am I ever again? And now we'll go down to a different chest that you never knew existed. Which is kind of funny to think about from the Common Sphere section we had before. And what's down here? A key item. Look at that. How ridiculous is that? The key item, Victor Primoris. What is Victor Primoris, you might wonder? Well, you remember what we got in the Chocobo dungeon before that allowed, I believe it was Riku to break HP limits? Well, let's scroll down. Here we go. We get another one. This is break damage limit for Pain. Why Pain gets that there, I don't know, but there you go. So we've actually got 2 now. We've got HP limit for Riku, damage limit for Pain, 2 out of 6 acquired, and I do hope I'll be able to get all of those key items. Super well hidden, super obscure, and funnily enough, if you actually pin Prophet, the Mihen mystery on Prophet, Chocobos will never come back to the high road, and you kind of lose out. So yeah, there's that. Now guys, listen, the footage is being weird. And I guess it's my capture card breaking, which is kind of crazy. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a story about the Final Fantasy X and 10-2 stuff, right? I recorded all of Final Fantasy X. If you go back to those old videos, they're really low quality, okay? I recorded all of that with a completely different capture card. One that recorded all this audio fuzz that I then had to noise remove, just all this really, really ridiculous stuff. However, a couple of episodes into 10-2, I believe it was, we got a new capture card. This is the Elgato HD60 is what I'm using. And over the course of this single series, the Elgato HD60 has started dying. That's why there's been like weird issues. That's why the video is being kind of odd every now and then. And I am looking to replace it. It's a lot of money, and I'm gonna have to wait for postage. And I don't want to stop doing videos in the meantime. So I'm really sorry. I don't want to draw too much attention to it, so I won't ramble on for ages. But that's what's happening, and I'm aware. So there's some smoke here now. I would have preferred if we could actually climb up here, you know, as the mini-map indicates. And then from up there, we could have done something. Oh, I was really hoping he'd give me the marker there. But you don't. They just kind of put this misty fog here. He says, this must be the portal the Chocobo found. Do you want to go inside? And we can Tobly style say, yep, yep. And head on in. Now, this is very, 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 very much bonus content. This is really mainly for the reward of a garment grid at the end. You'll notice as we load in there, we don't even get a cutscene. It just threw us in. I don't know, maybe they ran out of time, but because there are no cutscenes, I'm not even sure how much % completion, if any, is associated with this place. But I do want to show it off, and it's a really cool kind of like little game area, so we'll move in. This is not your standard fair cave. First of all the enemies inside are of a very unique variety. They are creepers. So look at these little creepy guys, man. I love these little enemies. They're called creepers. There is another variety as well in here. Largely, I'm going to be able to button mash my way through with the girls right now. We've got Pain on Berserker, Riku on attack reels, which I'm going to spam and hopefully not get too many duds. That's a dud straight away. Hopefully we can end the fight before she does it. Please. No dud. No, no. Oh. Yeah, I almost wiped on my test file here.
Hey, at least we won.
Yeah, Riku, that was your fault. Don't do that, Riku. God damn it. Yeah, I almost failed on one of my previous runs just because she dudded 3 times in a row on some otherwise really easy enemies. But I'm going to keep doing it with Riku just to get her some more AP. But as we move forward, you'll see we get this chest. Cool, we get loot already. This is the entire cave. Well, not quite. We get bombs. And for what it's worth, we get bombs as we kill creepers as well. So I actually don't recommend you use no encounters in here. I'm going to recommend you use no encounters on a different cave coming up. Oh, God. But this one, we're going to actually have the encounters because we kind of need them for the bombs. The bombs aren't just used in battle. As you can see here, about the Fiend Colony, the tunnels of this cave are blocked by thick walls. You'll need to use explosive items like S-bombs to blast your way into the colony's interior. So Una just auto-runs over. This looks like a good wall to blast through. First, press X to access your explosives. Then you can select which type you want to use. Keep blasting until the wall crumbles. Some walls are harder to blast than others, and there are 3 kinds of explosives, each with a different strength. So this is all going to seem very confusing. It's really actually quite easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to press square. And you can press square any way you like in this dungeon, and it will bring up this little menu of, hey, do you want to throw some bombs? You know, so we've got some weird numbers because of the encounters we've had. But what I'm going to do is throw some S-bombs, right? This wall in front of us is a very weak wall. So it has basically 5 health, and an S-bomb basically does 1 health of damage, okay? So if we throw 5 bombs is 5 health. The wall has 5 health, it breaks. There you go. If you succeed in blasting the wall, a new pathway will open up, and you might get some bombs out of it too. So now the tutorial runs us forward as another wall. You know the drill. So we press square and we decide. So S-bombs do 1 hit point. M-bombs do 2 hit points. Or do we call them hit points even though this is just a damn wall? And L-bombs do 3, okay? So I believe this wall also has 5 health, all right? You have no real way of knowing. So what we can do is just throw an M-bomb, a single one, all right? That's going to do 2 points of damage to a 5 hit point wall. And it's not going to break it, obviously, because it's got 3 health left, yeah? But it gives you a message. It says we've got a huge gash in the wall. That lets you know that you can break through the wall, and that lets you know that, you know, you're making some progress. So it says keep at it. Go ahead and get this wall out of the way. Well, so we just did 2 points of damage with the M-bomb. How about we do the other 3 with a single L-bomb? And there's a big bomb, and there you go, we go straight on through. One last thing, you can try using the explosives on the walls that won't crumble, or on things beside walls. Who knows what will happen? If you leave the colony, all walls will be restored. Alright, so you have to basically one-shot this. You have to get through the whole place in one go. There's a few cool things. Alright, so first of all, we have 3 directions. I can tell you guys, well, alright, yes, I'll demonstrate it, fine. This is a big cave, alright? And the thing about this big cave is there's a lot of directions and there's chests. There's, in particular, a crap ton of elixirs. So if we come down here, and then we come down here as well, and let's go, I don't know. See, if we throw 3 M-bombs on a 5 hit point wall, it's kind of wasteful, actually, if you think about it, because that's 6 damage, but whatever, all right? Let's throw the M-bombs. And voila, in front of us, we've got a chest, okay? And I believe this will be like an elixir or something, I don't really care. A Mega Phoenix, right? But here's the thing. So we can break walls like that, but then we can just throw them randomly in front of us, too. Let me just kill these guys, get us some more XP. There you go, a hug bug. That's what the other one's called. You've got creepers and hug bugs, all right? Oh my god, that was freaky. He like kamikazed on our head. I never saw that animation before. Wow. Oh jeez. Right, there we go. Okay, so there you saw we got 2 S-bombs and 2 M-bombs. So you do want those. All right, but here's the thing. If I just press square in the middle of this hallway here, right, and I throw like an S-bomb, it will detonate on me, and any number of things can happen. You can get gil, you can get random trashy items, or you can prompt ambushes. So there are a few different things that might occur out of that. So do be aware. And then the really cool thing as well, I'm really not going to show it because then I have to grind on a bunch of battles to get better bombs. But if you throw tons of bombs in the wrong place, like tons of bombs in the wrong place, you actually collapse the entrance. So you cannot escape again. There's no save sphere or anything in here. You can't get back out unless you go through like this massive hit point wall. Like it's got like 20 plus health or some ridiculous amount. And if you're running out of bombs at that point, that's really bad. Anyway, so forwards, we had a chest. If you go to the right, you also get this, okay? Sometimes, if you try and blow open a wall, this is basically the last mechanic. Check it out, it becomes a demon wall. Of course it does. Or these are actually technically called epitaphs. So we're just going to berserk on pain there. This is what I've had a couple of bad duds against before. So we'll berserk pain. She's just going to go nuts. And I might even trigger happy on Una. We are absolutely strong enough to get through this. In fact, today, as I record, hopefully this doesn't petrify us outright. Okay, good. Oh my god, it actually got pain, though. Oh, I was relying on her to do all the damage. All right, let's throw a soft with Riku then, shall we? Oh my god, she got shattered. What? Oh, this is awful. That never happened once to me. Do you know how many of these I've killed? These actually appear in friggin' Killiker, guys. these mobs, and I've withstood a great many stone breaths in my time over my many files playing this, and none of them have ever actually landed a hit. But there you go, Pain show, and Pain really is the carry at the moment. Oh no, oh my god, I'm not about to get game over. Okay, good, missed. I don't know what the chance of that thing hitting is, but it's got to be very low. Come on, how much damage was Pain doing? Should we heal up? Yeah, if you're wondering why we can't escape, it's because this is a proper ambush, okay? So we're, like, totally not allowed. All right, if she doesn't die there, okay, we will heal her up with an X potion, of which we have 81, which is very nice. But yeah, today we're going to be... There we go. Okay, good. Today we're going to be doing a couple of different dungeons. This one, honestly, despite how that fight there went, that's the only demon wall we have to fight, because I know where they all are. I know where all the duds are, so the correct way to go is left. As you should always know in any maze in any game you ever play, all right? So we're going to go left, and we're going to throw 5 bombs in. I'm actually going to have to get my guide out in a second just to look at the layout, the floor plan, because I don't remember 100% how everything goes. In fact, this T-junction up here, I'm not 100% clear. There are some items we do care about and we do want. And there's a cool trick I can show you guys too. Okay, cool. There we go. That's the fight over. Pain actually died there. But yeah, this one, I'm sure, like, fight-wise will be okay. But the next couple we do, they could be a lot harder. So we'll see. Those were massive wastes of X potions. Don't be angry at me, guys. It's fine. We can stash them. All right, so we want to take a right. The left at this T-junction here is just a dead wall, by the way. Okay. Now, here's a cool trick you can do. If I stand here... Oh, great. We may actually put no encounters on. I do have a lot of bombs already. Now, here's a cool trick you can do, okay, with that paddle out of the way. If you have a look at Una right now, she's not really... any different to how she normally is, right? However, if we stand over here and we look at Una, she's like humping the wall right now, right? Like, it's like, oh god, I don't want to talk about this. Like, but here you'll notice basically what's happening is wind is blowing against her, and that wind is a subtle way that the game lets you know that there's actually a blastable wall back there. Now, it doesn't work on all blastable walls. I think the idea is as you travel, you kind of learn to look out for those, and then it starts cheating you out of it by not doing the wind effect later. But that is totally a thing in here. I love it when games do that. It's very, very cool. And there you go. Finally, we get the Black Tome. So the Black Tome is what's going to reduce our Black Mage cast times. And that's in a hidden, like, offshoot wall off on the side there. There's actually 2 tomes I'm aiming to get in this dungeon, and the next one's coming up in just a second. It's going to be the White Tome. All right, I equipped the charm bangle. We're going no encounters for a little while here. We're going no encounters so we can just, like, travel through. So the White Tome is over here. And once again, you see that Una's vibrating. Most walls in here have about a strength of 5, by the way, so we should be okay. And what they do is kind of cool here, right? Like, you break in, and this is actually like a little U-bend here. You come around, and you're like, oh, what's going on? And then you come here, and you realize, oh, this is just another wall. This is actually really weird having this camera angle. That's another wall that we could break. So what's the point in this area? And you might think, oh, over here would have potatoes. Well, no, that's just a dead end, as we saw from the previous camera angle. What's actually going on is in the middle of the U-bend, kind of like where the amazing Chocobo was. We're going to throw this here. And we managed to break through. So as you can see, once again, 5 health. And then this here is our other tome. We still have the Black Lore to get, for what it's worth. That is something related to the Comspheres back in Chapter 4 that we still haven't paid off on. So once we've got that, you will have noticed over here we've got these chests. This is the way we want to go. There's a couple of like demon walls and super heavy chests, like durable walls back there, hiding like an elixir. But we're not going to bother with those. Now you might think, oh my god, look, it's the end of the dungeon. Look, 1 billion chests, awesome. Except as we open them all, they all tell us that they're empty. Great, thanks FFX2. And I like this actually. I really like this. Again, it's like, oh, that's the end. Let's leave. This actually reminds me an awful lot of a Final Fantasy 12 mechanic. Maybe you guys remember where there's basically all these chests in throughout the game, and if you don't open certain random arbitrary ones in the original release of the game, anyway, not international for 12, it would actually give you at the end like a really, really, really easy way of getting some stupidly OP gear. All right, that wall there isn't actually where we want to go. I think we want to come here, and you'll notice that once again her skirt's like vibrating. So we'll come over here. But yeah, basically as you play through 12, there's a bunch of chests, and there's one that you shouldn't open in a giant room full of them. And yeah, it's just pretty awful. Behind this wall here actually is another place, but it's just got like an enemy in a chest. And you notice we come to this really long hallway. This is like the long, fake out thing. There's a ton of side chambers all coming off of this all over the place. What we're aiming to do is get one of them like around here. We see her skirt moving. Let's try this one here. I'm going to throw 3 M-bombs. No, that didn't quite work. Just a little more and the wall will crumble. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Right here, there's a really, really, really tanky wall. So we've done 6 points of damage. Plus that is 12 points. I think this is probably at like 10 health. And we can come through here. And this is the main way. All the others are basically just duds, as I say. I'm pretty sure. Well, mind you, there is a sword tome in here we could go for. And in fact, the sword tome's not very far either. Hold on. All right, so now we've got like an ultra tanky wall. This one's stupidly tanky. So I'm actually going to just straight up throw 4 L bombs, which is 20. Wait, 3 times 4 is 12. We've made a huge gash. Let's throw a couple more. And so this is why, as you see, we're going to want some random encounters. Probably could afford to be a little bit more frugal, but we'll see. It's still not broken. This is, I think, the tankiest wall we have to go through. There we go. All right, now on the right, we do have a sword tome here. I appreciate how weird this must look for you guys to be watching. Yeah, the sword tome is basically a weak wall here. I think this is it. All right, so 5 of these. 5 S-bombs. But I hope you guys are all doing good. There we go. We almost missed it. Hope you guys are all doing good. Hope you're having a good day. It has been a while since I've recorded. I've actually been playing another game. I've made... yesterday, in one day, I made 20 videos. Can you believe that? 20! There's no exaggeration. 20 videos all in one project. But, man, it's really, really, really taken out of me. Like, really. All right, now, what he's going to do is fake you out. You're going to see this hole over here and be like, oh, that's the way I need to go. No, that's not the way you want to go. That's just a demon wall over there. Instead, you want to jump over here. Okay. And basically go to the end of this hallway. We're right near the end of the dungeon. However, halfway down the hallway, once again, we do have another lure we can grab. 3 M-bombs on this should be fine. Little bit wasteful. And here, once again, is another tome, the Arcane Tome. Now, actually, the funny thing is, you just heard me make a mistake. I called this a lore a second ago. The funny thing is about my guide, this official, like, Final Fantasy X-2 physical guide has so many mistakes. In here, basically, on the loot table for all the chests, it reads, okay, you got this tome, this tome, this tome, this tome, this tome, and then randomly it says that that's an arcane lore. When it's not an arcane lore, it's just a tome. But hey, whatever. All right, and right in front of us, we should be able to go, hold on, 1 medium, which is 2 points of damage. And then 1 large. Yeah, huge gash. 1 large. Okay, which is 3. And this wall up here, this is another stupidly sturdy wall. So we're just going to throw everything we've got at it, see if it breaks. If it doesn't, I'll get in a random encounter. Yeah, damn it. Just a little more and the wall will crumble. I don't want to use all my bombs up. All right, so we're just going to get a random encounter. We're going to take the charm bangle back off of paint here. And I'll see you guys in a second. Man, I love the design of those enemies. Those hexapods, they look so cool. All right, 2 L-bombs. Let's just try throwing another one and see if it goes. All right. Christ, the wall has started to crumble. All right, another battle. Oh, see, that kind of sucks. All right, we got 7 L-bombs there. Now, what you guys should have seen in the footage is one of the enemies oversold. On my test file, something else oversold. All right, so here we go. And here's the cutscene, which I guess might give us like 0.1% or something. I don't know. You'll notice it actually has no voice acting at all. So it seems like an absolute afterthought. Seems like, you know, if I was the devs, this is where I'd probably put, like, Enterprise or something. Anyway, here we go. So we get a giant creeper, basically. What they've done here, by the way, is really obvious. Now that we've played so much of the game, they've just scaled the enemy up, and they demonstrated back in 10 that they can make enemies fiery. They did it in a few places. I believe it's the same technology they used on the fire elementals, you know, the red elementals. And we saw it on Machina, for example. And they've just done the same thing here, but on this enemy, and just made him a lot bigger. So this is King Vermin. He's really not dangerous. Now, on my previous file, that enemy in the random encounter a second ago wasn't what oversold. This oversold. And he was much scarier and much more of a real boss fight. But we're super overpowered. And unless we get like 20 duds in a row through reels, I'm pretty sure we're going to be fine. All right, we got a single cherry. Thank Christ for that. I mean, I suppose I could try a little bit harder on the reels, but hey, who wants to do that? With a Berserk in Pain, I expect him to get finished off super quickly. And yeah, this is basically the Vermin Cave. I find it kind of interesting that they have his name capitalized. He's King Vermin! And yeah, I'm not quite sure what they're trying to say there. Oh, Riku's asleep, and now she's awake and still on no health. Well, there's our armor break from her reels. No dud, no dud, no dud. 2 cherries. Nice. And it looks like he's doing some kind of big attack. Well, there you go. And down he goes. And Riku learned Bribe. There you go. Bribe is associated with Lady Luck, in case you didn't realize. I guess because it's all supposed to be money-focused or something. But there you go. We get some power gloves. That's really not the loot that we're mainly looking for, though. This is what we're looking for. It's the Font of Power Garment Grid. And I feel like this is, again, a great example. The garment grids are always great examples of... The game has so many cool items, but they're just not even that good, right? So we're back on the Chocobo immediately. We're back outside. No cutscene. That's, of course, your alternative to leaving if you lock yourself in by throwing too many bad bombs. Font of Power is 1 MP cost. It's the same... Well, it's half MP cost to equip, and then going through all the gates, you get 1 MP cost, plus a bunch of magic chunk. Now, I think it's a cool grid, but I think this is like a mid... I think this is like... You would have a cave just over halfway through your game that is optional and very difficult. And it's like, you know, it's at like the 66%, 70% of the way through the game. That's where you have it. And it's a secret and it's optional. And that's where this would be really, really nicely balanced, right? Where it's still effort and it's got a drawback that you've got to spend all the time going through the gates in battles. But you get this really, really powerful, cool thing. And, you know, I feel like Final Fantasy X did that in quite a good way, right? Maybe it's not a coincidence that that's the way I like it, because in 10, you kind of have, around that point in the game is when you hit the Calm Lands, and, oh, look, you can do the Requiem Temple and all that stuff to actually charge Nirvana just enough to get that. I think it's cool, but in 10-2, I don't care about 1 MP cost. I certainly don't care about equipping it to a Fiend. Right, so it's like this fun thing that's just not balanced enough, and Font of Power basically just gets thrown on the pile. But there you go. That's one of the optional dungeons. If that was how we got break HP limit or something, I think it'd be much cooler. Let's now go to the next one. The next one that I haven't done any test file for whatsoever. How cool would it be, by the way, if you got to stay on the Chocobo here? I haven't done any testing for whatsoever. And is basically going to be the bane of my existence. I thought it'd be more fun this way, but maybe I'm going to be proved wrong. Let's go back to the Thunder Plains, guys.